She got up like, F this, I'm going back inside. Poor girl, she looks so embarrassed. Yo, what's up, all you good people out there, and welcome back to the channel. Alright, and in this episode, we're gonna kick back and watch some strange TikToks. Now, some of these TikToks might really have you sitting back in your chair like, oh my, what in the world?
A post on 4chan went viral over the weekend letting people know that they could withdraw endless amounts of money from their ATM at Chase Bank. So people lined up to withdraw ungodly amounts of money from their own bank account. So the way they did it is they deposit a check with an ungodly amount of money on it, knowing that they'd get the money out of the ATM before the bank could clear the check. And these individuals were so smart they thought they would double down and go viral at the same time by filming themselves withdrawing the money. So not only do they have them incriminated with their own bank account, but they actually have video footage of them doing so. Now, the post on 4chan promised that the negative value that was associated to their account would disappear the next day. But that wasn't the case at all for any of them, and now they're all in very big trouble. And now these people could face criminal charges for fraud. I mean, the bank has literally all your information here. And though these people probably didn't spend the money right away and they could give it back, besides criminal charges, they could face civil lawsuits from the bank. Even if they did give it all back, there's just no way the bank's gonna just let it go.
How are people even able to pull out thousands from an ATM? Every time I've tried, it's been like 250 max. But on a side note, I really don't feel bad for the dumb people that tried this.
Hold on. The sky went black. There was one gust of wind. This does not even do it justice. The sky is on fire orange. Oh my god. This is the craziest storm I've ever been in. I've never seen anything like that before. I need to rewatch this later. I'm just gonna keep going. We got 30 more seconds, y'all. Insane.
I've seen a few videos of that orange sky in Minnesota a week ago. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit jealous. I love when the sky looks all wicked like this.
This is Los Angeles. Everything is gone. Look at this. This is our deodorants, I think. This place is going, I mean, this looks like it's been looted. And I guess thieves just come in and take whatever's expensive and just fucking walk out with it. This is crazy. This is unrecognizable. When I moved to Los Angeles, you'd come into Rite Aid and you'd spend the fucking afternoon looking around. This is so fucking sad.
Oh hell no, this woman's brave. That's like a New York City rat right there. Yeah, I don't blame him though. I'd be running around that house screaming too.
I think now more than ever it's become so blatantly obvious that we've shifted timelines. The concept of shifting timelines isn't the traditional way that we understand it, which is just moving forward in time. It's moving into different versions of reality based on our individual and our collective consciousness. There are currently two frequencies that exist right now, and it's getting more and more obvious as each day goes by. You even see it on TikTok, the duality, my God. And when I say frequency, I'm talking about different levels of awareness and state of being. One frequency is tied to the old paradigm. That's fear, division, control. The other frequency represents a higher level of consciousness, more in tune with love, unity, and spiritual growth. I feel like a lot of us are feeling our foot in one world and a foot in the other world because it's bringing on a lot of discomfort, a lot of confusion. But right now you have to consciously choose which frequency you want to align with. We're literally living in a parallel reality. It's crazy. And you can see it with the state of the world. There are so many people who are just like so emotionally invested in everything that's going on. And then there's those of us who are living life normally. My best advice is to just embrace the shift.
Yeah. So God updated the servers again last night, y'all. And he gave us this new DLC. It's a yellow quill-tip porcupine. Never seen one of these in my life. Can't tell by the tail. Looks like a possum. But yeah, that's the update.
We need to talk about this new Christina Aguilera that came out of the lab, I guess, because who is this woman? I just need you guys to take a good look at her, okay? Now, I'm so glad that I'm not the only person noticing this. People are sending it to me. People are talking about it all in the comments, like, what the fuck happened to Christina? There's no way that this is 20 years later and she looks so freaking different. Like, people say, like, oh my God, it just looks like original Christina from, like, what, 2000s? This isn't her dirty stage. This is some point. Like, let's look at the different versions that there have been of her. There are so many different versions of her. Her nose is even different in this one. I mean, obviously her lips. But she literally it's like metamorphosis. Like, what's happening? I don't buy the Botox. I don't buy the plastic surgery. I don't buy it. It's giving clowns. She does kind of look similar in this one. But this Christina is definitely not this Christina. Or this Christina. Or this one. And most definitely not this one. So people are telling me it's giving Paris Hilton energy. Definitely Paris Hilton energy, which you guys know I believe Paris Hilton is AI. All of these photo shoots are giving Miley Cyrus and Paris Hilton. Very AI. Not actually a person at all.
Yeah, that can't be Christina Aguilera. Like, I know people change over 20 years, but come on now. She looks better nowadays than she did back in her prime.
You are not in 2024. We don't know what year we are truly in. This is how crazy it gets. So there are 28-day lunar cycles. So from a new moon to a full moon, it takes 28 days. This is why we call it a month, which is a month, because the ancients used the lunar calendar. 364 days in a year divided by 28 is 13. Where is the missing month? We should have an extra month. Therefore, we are not truly in 2024. Everything's been changed. And I'll tell you why. It's because the celestial bodies govern us. And they govern your body. There are cycles in your body with water, with the moon. This is why we call it a menstrual cycle for women. Because women are in harmony with the moon and the cycle of it. And it's the same with your body. The water in your body is being sucked or pulled by the moon. During a full moon, this is when people start to go crazy because the moon is pulling on the water in your body. So the ancients used to fast and be in sync with the moon. So because it affects our consciousness. So it's crazy, people. We don't even know what year we are in. And they are changing the calendars so that we are not in sync with the celestial bodies.
My manager thinks I just clocked out for my break, but little does she know I'm never coming back ever.
Go ahead, like, share, and follow this video because there's so many videos like this online. People are waking up to the idea that the juice is just not worth the squeeze. There's so many people out there just making just enough money to continue to be broke. There's tons of big corporations like that are in a mall, so they're giant corporations that are paying their staff just enough to barely get by. Between that and the added stress of adulthood, a lot of these companies are going to end up closing down because nobody wants to work there anymore. I hear people say it all the time. Certain jobs aren't meant to be careers. Okay, well then you're just not going to end up shopping there anymore because nobody's going to work there. Do I think you take a job like that making $100,000 a year? Absolutely not. No. You know when you take a job like that you're not going to make crazy money, but you should still have some sort of fruit for your labor. Don't get me started on customer service. You want better customer service? Try being a better customer. So many employees are fed up, and so many companies are going to end up going out of business because they don't want to do business. You're making record profits and not paying your employees enough to care. And that is what's happening. People are leaving during the middle of the shift because they're only going to put up with so much. Let me know in the comments, have you ever quit a job mid-shift? I know I have.
They don't want you to know this. What if I told you that nearly all the world's most iconic ancient structures were built with technologies far beyond what we understand today? These buildings are infused with hidden technologies designed to harness and manipulate energy. Take a look at these European cathedrals. There is more to the towering spires and stained glass windows than meets the eye. The spires acted as antennas, drawing energy from the skies, whilst the glass was infused with metal to amplify and direct this energy throughout the building. Resonant frequencies were used to heal and elevate consciousness within those walls. But it doesn't stop there. The pyramids of Egypt, the ziggurats of Mesopotamia, and the stupas of Asia are all built on powerful energy vortices, strategically placed to tap into the Earth's natural power. The ancients did not need wires or power lines to power their cities.
Remember this photo of Jennifer Lopez? It was a gym photo she took, and people realized when they zoomed in a little bit, there was a person, seemed to be like a kid or maybe a man, who knows, in the door with their mouths covered, and they look scared. Did we ever get an answer to that? Did we ever get an explanation? I just want to know. Because, yeah, that's, yeah.
I only got a second, but let me get this straight. So we have astronauts telling us that they're hearing really weird sounds in space, and they even got them recorded. And at the same exact time, coincidentally, they're releasing very problematic articles. If you hadn't heard, I'm about to show you real quick, and then we'll go over the articles.
Got a question about Starliner.
Houston's with you, Butch. Go ahead.
There's a strange noise coming through the speaker. Here we go.
They're in space. And this never happens. Now, both these articles came out in the last 2 days. Aliens are already here and a threat to us all. The Pentagon's covering it up, and I have proof, the chilling warning of a former U.S. intelligence officer. Already here, and they're a threat to us? I hope y'all do understand what it means when things like this happen all at the same time and what they're leading to. And coordinated as always, a completely different site says UFO expert says aliens have invasion plans and are tinkering with our weapons. Both this and the other one are accredited sources. And then in Colorado at the same time, they're having awful cattle mutilations everywhere. I blanked out all the bad stuff, and they don't have blood, they have black bile. According to that 3-letter agency, there's been over 10,000 reported cattle mutilations in the USA. Things that we cannot do. Surgically removing all the blood from the animal? I mean, come on.
Turning into a real-life horror movie. I'm just over here trying to figure out how they could talk to people in space, but I get dropped calls in my driveway.
This is why most spiritual people go through the worst shit. All the chosen ones do. You all are chosen ones. And being a rising ascended master, you chose a storyline that would challenge you to remember her again. That Christ-like energy that they talk about in Jesus' story, that's you. That's why I always told you, Jesus isn't real, but the story is. 3,300 souls on the line right now. That's not a lot of souls. How many people in the world again? So although it might look like a lot, you have to compare that to how many people is in the world. It should be 100,000 people on the line. You see? 1 million. Because they are not rising ascended masters. So they not thinking alike on this frequency. That doesn't mean they aren't great souls, but you special. You different. You the one.
We need to normalize this conversation. We need to talk about how difficult it is to participate in society knowing everything that we do. Once you are awake, it becomes extremely difficult to participate in a modern day system of slavery. It's extremely difficult to show up to a world that you know is ran by satanic freaks, knowing what we do about what happens beneath our feet, knowing what we do about what happens to the children, knowing that our money is literally printed out of thin air, and yet we are still taxed on it multiple times. Knowing what we do, and yet we still have to play nice in the sandbox like little boys and girls, and we can't say anything to anybody because then we'll be labeled as crazy conspiracy theorists. It is exhausting to show up in this fake satanic world. And you are not alone. We are all exhausted. So know that this needs to be a normal conversation. This needs to be normalized.
delivering this to a customer, but I rebuke it in the name of Jesus. And I just want y'all to know, because a lot of people are not aware, but there are no way to like grip the box, you know, like a 12 pack, like a normal 12 pack would be. And that's because they don't want the demon out. And I just rebuke it in the name of Jesus, whatever demon's in there. It's bad enough it has to ride in my car.
In Chinese, it might not work. Is the Army turning this thing into a migrant shelter? Why are you guys here? It's a hotel. Why is the Army at this hotel?
We're here at the request of the state of New York.
The state of New York has put the Army into hotels? What the hell is that about? This is a public hotel, right? What is the Army doing in this hotel? Have you guys taken over this hotel? What is...
So you can't
What the fuck is the Army doing taking over civilian hotels in the middle of New York City? I can't record. So this is what I'm talking about, people. Do you think those guys are there to help you or me? What is going on?
The economy is so bad that evictions have skyrocketed far above pre-lockdown levels. This is of course due to rents surging through the roof. In fact, in some cities, evictions are up as much as 35%. And this data is from Princeton University. Now get this equation, as rents went up by 30%, evictions went up by 30%. What a coincidence. It's not hard to see why this has happened. Many people were already pushed to the brink thanks to the surge in the cost of living. And once rents skyrocketed even more and more people were pushed over the edge. Also keep in mind that due to the constrained supply of affordable housing, in many markets, people are forced to rent more expensive apartments than they can actually comfortably afford. This does two things. First, it absolutely decimates their budgets. But second, it exposes them to any kind of price increase, which they may not be able to absorb. People being forced to rent apartment units that are outside of their budget is also driving this trend. The surge in evictions is just one more sign that we are in recession. And remember, not just recession, but stagflation.
Welcome to America, folks. Every time I see an eviction notice on the door, it breaks my heart. Yeah, I'm sure you already know, but if you got an eviction on your record, it's nearly impossible to get another rental. Meanwhile, they keep on building luxury apartments for $2,000 a month, and many of them don't even have a kitchen.
So there's this very, very strange looking weather phenomenon going on over Mexico right now, and I need answers. I need somebody to tell me what this is. What am I looking at right now? What is that? Wait, it gets weirder. It looks mechanical. It doesn't look like a natural thing. What is that? Somebody tell me what this is.
Looks like a frequency pattern to me, but probably CERN up to some bullshit.
Brooklyn people are starting to notice something ain't right in their community, and it wasn't happening before. More human bones discovered in Brooklyn Bridge Park for a third time in 2 weeks. Let me make this clear, and let me say this right now. Before you know who came, we wasn't hearing about bodies floating in rivers and getting chopped up, because the bodies that have been floating in the river are being chopped up. And this is the second time in a week that a third body has been found floating in the river. Not too far from where? Not too far from migrant shelters. Something seems odd. Something don't seem right. Because all before we weren't hearing about this. But third time this week, cops have to come into the same place to find chopped up bodies? Everything that I spoke about and said has been reported by the news.
Imagine how many other places this is happening, but people haven't started noticing yet. I don't even need to say it, but it's a crazy world out here. We got Ted Bundys all over the place nowadays.
Story about a new type of ATM fraud has exploded on the internet. Scammers using glue and the ATM tap feature have been draining bank accounts.
Thieves pouring glue into the card reader. That forces consumers to use a tap function, setting up a domino effect. The bank manager told Pamela that scammers pour glue into the slot so victims have to tap. By tapping, the transaction window stays open even after the cash comes out. So, if a customer walks off without closing the window, a thief can simply step up and make more withdrawals. All use the tap feature at this ATM. All found their accounts drained after they left.
That guy scammed me last night at the ATM machine. I inserted my card. It didn't work.
A man in line told her she could tap her card instead, and it worked. She got her cash, walked off, but the next day, a shock.
Why is my account almost $1,000 less?
She found 3 more withdrawals on her account, $940 gone. And don't talk to anyone in line. If anybody's coming up to you at an ATM, they know they're not supposed to do that. Be very, very careful.
I thought everyone did the same thing I do and just wait the few extra seconds to make sure the screen is closed out. But yeah, I guess not. But ATMs are a sketchy place to be at, so I get why you would want to get your money and be out, especially when it's dark out and you're all by yourself.
Uh-oh.
Well, this was breaking last hour. Stunning new numbers from the Bureau of Labor Statistics.
Well, take a look at this.
That the United States added 818,000 fewer jobs than initially reported.
I wonder if they're going to say something about this at the DNC.
And that makes the largest downward employment revision in 15 years.
Probably not.
More than 800,000 jobs just vanished, just like that, in what appears to be a sign of a weak and vulnerable job market. Hello everyone, this is Outnumbered. I'm Kaylee McEnany, live at the Democratic
Our economy is collapsing right before our very eyes. What do you know? I was wondering why I'm seeing so many now hiring signs. Nobody wants to work these dead-end jobs. My man came through the door like he was Stone Cold Steve Austin.
When you're someone that stands out from the crowd, you don't think the same way, you don't talk the same way, you do things differently, different from the majority of people, it's gonna feel lonely. And it's gonna feel like, why does this group of people have millions of people that they relate to, but I feel like I can't even find a single person to relate to? You're probably someone that is constantly also looking for someone out there in the world to give you permission to be yourself. And in this journey to try to find people that you can relate to, you're constantly holding yourself back. You're holding back your authentic expression, your beliefs, because you're not seeing anyone else be the same way. And this is detrimental because what if you never find that person that is just like you? What if at the end of this life you look back and you realize you were the only one of your kind, you were the only one that was you, and you were constantly looking for someone else, some other person to tell you it's okay to be yourself because I'm like this too? What if you being yourself and no longer looking for someone to tell you it's okay to be you is what others need in order to be themselves? What if you are the person you're looking for and others are in your position waiting for someone to give them permission to be themselves? So next time you're feeling like, why can't I find people of my same energy, my vibe, the frequency that I'm at, the life that I live, my belief systems, who I am?
My people, as you can see, I'm right here in Aurora, Colorado. I just had to come out here because I couldn't believe the shit they were saying about those Venezuelans taking over apartment complexes, man. Sitting on top of the roofs with AR-15s. As y'all can see, I'm right here in Aurora, Colorado right now. That's Aurora police. Say, man, ain't shit going on out here like that. Don't believe that. That shit is all hype, man. Ain't nothing taking place like that. I literally just drove down Colfax. That's the street it's supposed to be taking place on, over there off of Colfax, and I believe 17th. Ain't nothing popping.
People like this that get out there and do the dirty work and report back to us the truth, man, they truly deserve a lot more credit than they get.
So this sister was saying that the weather people are not telling us everything. She's from New Orleans and said the water is hot and the sharks are moving closer. She just spoke about different nature patterns are just off and there may have been an underwater volcano, and just things have been off. And I remember taking my kids dolphin watching, and the tour guide was saying, there's been much more dolphins this year. We saw 3 whales. We got a 2-for-1 special. So when I went on the tour, I remember what she said. I was like, oh my God. But just this week, it has switched. This week, me and my kids had to put on jackets to go to school in the morning. I mean, it warms up later in the day, but it's August. It's August. I live in the South. It's no reason we shouldn't be feeling a nip in the air, a breeze in the air. I don't care how early in the morning. Like what?
Yeah, of course the meteorologists aren't telling us anything. It's not really their job. All the scientists and marine biologists, on the other hand, now they've been telling us for decades.
Luxury brands are a scam and they prey on poor-minded people. And let me tell you why I have this opinion, because yes, this is my very own personal opinion. Have you guys seen the video of the girl that's talking about Dior bags and how Dior bags are made in China and they cost $50 to make a $2,000 bag? So these brands make you believe that you're getting the highest quality material. They're being made in Italy when they really are made in the same factories where Shein and all of these cheaper products are manufacturing their bags. And now, why do I say that they target poor-minded people? Is because these brands create the illusion of wealth. They get these influencers and these celebrities to promote their products, which a lot of the times they don't even pay for it themselves. Meanwhile, you will not catch a billionaire with any of these brands because these brands are not for them.
She definitely has a great point. These big name brands create the illusion of wealth. I'd much rather go shop at a Burlington coat factory over a Balenciaga store any day. Even if I did have the money like that, I would not go and waste it on these big name brands like some of these people. People out here rocking Gucci belts but don't even have a car.
And wake my dreams, let it wash away my sanity. Cause I wanna feel the thunder, I wanna scream, let the rain. Bitch, you don't know that shit! What the fuck? Wow. Wow. Alright.
Yo, the silence has me weak. Doja Cat screaming at her fans for not knowing Hilary Duff was not on my bingo card for 2024.
Fourth dimensional beings cast a 3-dimensional shadow on Earth, and I can prove it scientifically, bitch. Small penny. This specific thought woke me up out of a dead melatonin sleep. I had taken 3 or 4 gummies and it still woke me up. Now, we're gonna start talking about it. Stay with me, focus. Don't laugh at me, but what got me thinking about this was a Bill Cipher edit. If you don't know who Bill Cipher is, he's a character from Gravity Falls. He is a 3-dimensional being born in a 2-dimensional world. His story, I think, is one of the most well-written plots of our lifetime. Never seen the show, love the character. But it got me thinking. A dimensional creature will always cast a shadow on the dimension below it. If you are a 2D creature, like Bill Cipher's family, you would cast a 1D shadow. If you are a 3D creature, like me and you, even though I am 3D, my shadow here is still 2D. Okay, so just to surmise, dimensional beings will cast a shadow on the dimension below it. And since me and you are 3-dimensional creatures, our shadows are 2-dimensional. So, a 4th-dimensional creature would cast a 3-dimensional shadow. Well, Fox, what the fuck does that mean? What the hell does a 3-dimensional shadow look like? The Hat Man. Shadow people. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? I think you're picking it up. If a 4-dimensional creature, assuming that the 4th dimension that we are talking about is time and space, were to cast a shadow in the dimension below it, it would be a 3-dimensional shadow. Because when you go up a dimension, so does your shadow. Shadow people, the Hat Men, whatever you want to call them, are not entities themselves. That's why they never interact. That's why they just sit and watch. See, I can do all kinds of things with my shadow but it cannot interact. Shadow beings can't interact because they're a lower dimensional representation of a higher dimensional being.
Sabrina Carpenter is one of the hottest artists out, with multiple hit songs and a new album that's expected to go #1 on the Billboard charts. It's looking pretty clear that Sabrina is gonna be the next big thing. But just like many other celebrities who see a sudden rise in popularity, Sabrina's rise to fame seems rather suspicious. Everything about her career screams industry plant, letting us know she is the new female puppet of the music industry. Every couple of years, the music industry introduces the new big star who all the girls want to be. We often see this artist come out of nowhere with the music industry fully supporting them. Looking at Sabrina Carpenter's career, you can easily see she's an industry plant, and I'm gonna tell you exactly why. Sabrina has actually been in Hollywood since she was a young girl. She got her start in acting at the age of 12 when she appeared as an extra on Law & Order. She most likely got this role thanks to her famous aunt Nancy Cartwright, who's the voice actress for the Simpsons character Bart Simpson. By 2013, she would end up signed to Disney's Hollywood Records. Just like every other industry plant that comes out of the Disney factory, we witnessed Sabrina go from being the innocent Disney good girl to the pop star bad girl. The former Disney good girl who now sings about hooking up with men and being toxic. Now she's being overly sexualized and turned out. Just take a second to examine her rise to fame and tell me she isn't an industry plant. Just like all the other industry puppets, Sabrina has been taking pictures doing the one-eye symbolism. In this photo, she is literally standing in front of a poster of the all-seeing eye. It couldn't be more obvious than this. Not only are there photos of Sabrina showing the one-eye symbolism, but she already performed at the Masonic Temple. This is something I have seen many celebrity puppets do right as they start rising in fame.
Moms across America tested their first cereal, General Mix Trix Loaded, and they claim they found alarming levels of neurotoxins and carcinogens. Moms across America is pushing for a healthier America.
The problem right now with current U.S. policy is that they are not regulating heavy metal exposure in our food supply sufficiently.
The nonprofit saying their tests are showing high levels of heavy metals like cadmium and aluminum.
Both heavy metals and pesticides have been found to be carcinogenic and to be linked to neurological and developmental disorders that can be lifelong and permanent.
Also testing 43 school lunch samples and popular fast food chains across the country.
Moms Across America tested 43 school lunch samples, and we also tested the top 20 fast food restaurants this year and found, in fact, for them to be more, to contain more toxins than nutrients.
Moms Across America is urging consumers to contact their local representatives and push for legislation to keep these toxins out of our food.
These are celebrities who faked being poor while growing up. Lady Gaga painted herself as growing up middle class. That's not true. She grew up on the notoriously wealthy Upper West Side, just blocks away from Lincoln Center, and also went to private school called Sacred Heart. Lady Gaga then said that a lot of her classmates were wealthy, but not her parents. They couldn't afford to buy her a $600 Gucci purse that she wanted, although all of her friends at school had $600 Gucci purses. Her parents did, however, take out a loan to buy her a baby grand piano so that she could practice music. Her father paid part of her rent for the first apartment she had and offered to pay her rent at NYU if music didn't work out. Her dad was very successful. He actually created Guess Wi-Fi, and her mother was a VP at Verizon. Just because your parents refuse to buy you a $600 purse does not mean that they are not financially well off.
Her dad invented guest Wi-Fi. Girl, get out of here. You rich. Next, he's got to do Kid Rock. Like, that man lived in a mansion, not no damn trailer park.
This is what we caught going in our yard, and there was no airplanes, and you can look, there's no sun shining. Watch this. What in the world was that?
Not that I needed proof he existed, but shocking new research on the Shroud of Turin, the 14-foot cloth many believe Jesus was buried in, has unveiled very intriguing new discoveries. Recent wide-angle X-ray studies have shown details consistent with a death by crucifixion. revealing a man who experienced a tragedy aligning with historical accounts. This advanced technology also provides a more accurate dating method, suggesting the shroud could date back to approximately 2,000 years. Additionally, the imaging indicates that the image on the shroud is not a painting, but results from complex chemical reactions involving linen fibers and human blood. The evidence on the shroud aligns with the wounds described in crucifixion, including scourge marks, nail wounds, and even a crown of thorns.
Hi, baby. Hi. I get your feet. I get your feet. I get your feet.
Owls usually freak me out, but this one's actually cute.
What's the scariest animal
On Earth?
if you've been to another planet with an animal? Let me know about it.
Maybe you'll find out one of these
Maybe.
days.
What animal on Earth is scariest to you?
You.
The government is hiding an ancient civilization from you. Have you ever wondered why many ancient civilizations are shaped similar to the motherboard of a computer, and why so many old cities mysteriously burned down in fires? This is because the world before us was full of advanced technologies, far more powerful than what we have today. The ancient civilizations were created to farm energy from the atmosphere to power their society. These ancient civilizations had extremely complex information about the Earth, which was passed down into the Tartarian Empire. The Tartarians had advanced architecture which could harness atmospheric energy. This made energy practically free for everybody. When the elites discovered they could control countries by limiting their energy supply, they waged war on Tartaria and destroyed all of their technology. They began selling oil to countries so they could completely control them. What do you think?
Doing the crip walk while dropping a deuce, like that's pure talent. My man was getting down. Alright, my good people, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up here. If you got a kick out of this episode, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And just gotta let you guys know, if you always come through and show love and support for the channel, just know your boy right here appreciates you. Alright, y'all, take care out there, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.